day to all of you, dear friends who are, especially those who are joining us in this worship through live streaming. As I've been doing, I usually focus on the first reading, this meditation sharing, taken from the book of Numbers. There is a saying by an unknown author who said, "Envy eats nothing but its own heart." Or another one, a Danish proverb would say, "Rust consumes iron, and envy consumes itself." The core issue in the first reading today is the friction or envy and jealousy among siblings. Miriam and Aaron were scandalized by Moses' marriage with a foreign woman. But that seems to be just at the surface. But the real issue actually was the envy of Miriam and Aaron to Moses. I think these words would reveal this. Has the Lord, they said, spoken only through Moses? Has He not spoken through us also? This is seen as a refusal against the prophet and a representative of God, Moses. This story is, I think, repeated 1,000 times in families and even communities of faith. The arrogance, presumption, self-sufficiency impede us to accept the authentic messengers of God when we think that we have more right because we are more holy or maybe more capable, that we despise others, even those who are constituted by God as messengers. But God is not blind. God upholds His servant Moses in time of crisis, and by defending him against the envy of Miriam and Aaron. This story is a way, I think, if there is something consoling about it, is to find out that even among this chosen representative like Moses, that they were also susceptible to such common friction among siblings, among members of the community. Maybe we see the humanity, the humanness of these representatives, chosen people, chosen leaders of God's people. In the light of this, I mean the special intimacy with God and Moses' leadership of that people, we imagine that he would be exempted from such petty family problems of everyday life. Another aspect here that we see, an interesting aspect, is that Moses never spoke but remained silent under criticism. As the reading expresses, Moses was the humblest man on the face of the earth, it says. It is interesting that Moses, who accomplished so much, yet he knew how to keep silent. I think a sign of greatness and character. The author of Ecclesiastes reflects and affirms there is a time for everything, a time for every affair under the heavens, a time to be silent and a time to speak. It says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 and 7. As we have said, God upholds the humble. He brings the wicked down to the ground. It says in Psalm 147. God sided and upheld Moses while he was displeased with Miriam and Aaron. He took away the sign of his presence, the cloud, and Miriam became leprous. Instead of rejoicing for being justified, Moses cried out to God to heal Miriam. I think another sign of the greatness of Moses. He did not rejoice at the misery of the other, even those who offended him. One author, reflecting on the attitudes of Miriam and Aaron, expressed this. Perhaps, he said, those who have lost their sense, the sense of their common mission and common project in which they work together are susceptible to such foolishness of jealousy, envy. Once they have lost sight of their project, they are immobilized and are consumed by their games of power and prestige. Therefore, it is necessary that each one should be contented with one's role within the great project of God. Thus, struggle for power and prestige would not interfere in our relationship with each other. And I think we are seeing this now as personalities trying to align themselves to form this or that party, and they are justifying themselves because they have their own ambitions of power and prestige, instead of really thinking and putting together their talents, their capacities, in order to provide a good alternative, a good government. This is our prayer as we approach, I think, we pray for our own families, that may there be understanding and not envy and jealousy. And also among the powerful, among those who have roles in society and government, that may they be open and see what is truly beneficial for the country, for the community, instead of just their own need for prestige and power. And may the Lord, who came to serve and not to be served, inspire men and women to know how to work together